What's going on, people? It's your boy John the Dreamer. Welcome back to another YouTube tutorial. Today we're going to be looking at the session view and how I use it in Ableton Live 10. So the session view, let's get straight in there. To me, I see it as like a mass loop player, improvisation tool, and arrangement tool. Somewhere where you can just get all your ideas out at once. But before we get into the nitty-gritty of the session view, we need to cover a few things and a few components that actually make up the session view. So the first thing is clips. What are clips? Clips are the boxes that you see within the session view grid, which contain MIDI clips and audio files. Now, these MIDI clips and audio files can range within duration, range within bar count, and this makes it a really cool place to make some loops up or use some pre-existing loops within the session view. So the first thing we need to look at is the clip launch button. Anytime you have a clip within the session view, you can launch a clip by pressing the play button on a clip. Now, if you want to stop a particular track's clips, what you can do is click any of the boxes that are not in use underneath your clip and it will instantly stop it. That is because if there was a clip there, it would start a new clip, but because there isn't, it will just stop the clip for you. Now, if you want to record a new clip using the session view, all you need to do is click the session record button, not the main record button, because that will start to record within the arrangement view. But if you click the session record button, it will start to record on a clip within the track that you have record armed. Now, why would you want to use clips within the session view? Now, there are numerous reasons, loads of weird and wonderful reasons why you want to do that. But some of the key things that I would say is you can actually do automation within the clip. Some other DAWs out there will make you do your automation on the track within a specific time and the duration. Whereas in Ableton, you can put it in the clip. So wherever that clip goes, the automation goes with it. Really powerful feature. Another reason is you might be interested in doing things like transpositions, transposing parts of it, or doing time signature changes. All of those kind of functions you can actually attach to your clips, which can create some really nice variations within your compositions. Now, using the session view is really powerful when you combine it with something like an Ableton Push or something like a Launchpad, because this gives you actual physical representation of the clips that you're using within the session view to hand. And this allows you to start to get really creative and start to have some really nice variations and maybe build up some complex patterns that you wouldn't have even thought about, but because you pressed that button at a specific time, it started to work. Now, when it comes to launching clips within Ableton Live, you need to really know what time divisions you're going to be working at. For example, how many bar counts before the next clip can come in. And you can set it up by using the global quantization menu. This allows you to go through and choose whether it's 1 bar, half a bar, quarter of a bar, 16th of a bar, whatever time division that's available within the settings, you can set it to, and you can launch your clips however you want to. I recommend just sticking to 1 bar, because what you do is when you want to launch another clip, just before that bar stops, you can start your new clip and it will launch perfectly in time. 2 bars is cool, but at the same time, when you want to do those kind of quick transitions, you're going to mess up because you've got an extra bar to wait for. So I always just stick to 1 bar. Now, when it comes to launching clips, you don't have to launch every single clip one at a time. You can actually launch your clips by using scenes. Now, you can find your scenes on top of the master channel, and if you want to launch a whole row of clips, if you click on that particular button, you'll be able to launch all the clips within that row, and that makes it really easy for transitioning between different sections of your compositions or your beats. I use it all the time. It's one of my favorite things within Ableton, especially when I'm using my Launchpad. I'm out at a coffee shop and I'm triggering a whole hook, a whole verse, trialing it out, seeing if there's any additional sounds I can put in there just by using the scene mode. And this is all before I'm committing the track to the arrangement view. Now guys, even though I'm going to cover the session view in a lot of detail within this video, there are going to be loads of things that I'm going to miss. And that's because the session view is huge. It will take several videos to really break this down to step by step. And that's not something I can actually do at the moment. So if you're interested in that, or if there's things that I missed, leave it down in the comments and I'll be sure to cover it in a future video. But for now, let me show you the stuff that I use mainly within the session view in this live demonstration now. Right now I have a beat that I've started to make, which is in loop based form. So I have just 4 bar loops for every instrument, and I'm going to play the beat in its entirety. Okay, so that's what we have at the moment. We can break down the individual instruments right now. Strings. Then we've got a piano. Next one, xylophone kind of mallet. Next one's like a synth whine. Then we have the 808. After that, we have the drums, snare, open hi-hat, and have a separate track for my hi-hats. So what you'll see is all of these are housed in clips, right? If I double click on these, you can see all the different clips and they're all 4 bars each. Okay. All right, all 4 bars each. This one here, it was 8 bars. So I'm going to crop this actually. And there we go. Now we can see it's 4 bars. So that's really cool. You can sit here and just start to hash your ideas out in loop form. You can also group things up. So let's say this was the melodic content. I just wanted to keep these all together. I could highlight them all, right click and press group or press Command G. And now I've got a whole group that I can trigger at once. So I can be like, okay, you know, if you don't have like a MIDI controller, like a push or a Launchpad, just use the mouse. Now, using the session mode in Ableton is not limited to just using MIDI clips, right? You can drag in audio. So over here, I've got these little hi-hat loops, which are WAV files, and I can drag this in. And this is where Ableton's warp mode is really going to help you out, because no matter what the tempo of your beat is, ideally Ableton should work it out. Instantly we're in time. So all audio clips that you throw into Ableton that are in like a loop-based format, which are WAV files, will instantly be worked out and be able to be put in time with your beat. So I've got this one here. And when I start to launch it, and it just works. And then within the session mode, you could do the same sort of stuff as, you know, double time and stuff. Half timing. Okay, cool. So that's something you can do. This is also really good for trying to come up with new MIDI ideas. So if I open up a new MIDI track and open up a, I don't know, let's open up Omnisphere. Let's record something that goes along with this. So I've got here. And I'll stop recording. And now I've just recorded that into a clip. And we can see I've got my MIDI notes come up. And it's gone over into 5 bars. But I'm going to bring this down here into 4. I can highlight all the notes, press quantize. Let's quantize at a rate of quarter notes. There we go. Okay, so let's say you've got your clips laid out in a way that you want. You can start to arrange these into maybe scenes that you can actually start to launch as one. So this first row may be your introduction. So I'm going to click on here and press right click and press rename. I'm going to call this intro. And next one, I'm going to call this one hook. And then the third one, I'm going to call it the verse, right? Now, generally, in some instances, I have my verse like 16 bars or 24 bars, or I have my hook 8, or it really depends. But in this instance, I'm going to have it as like an 8-bar thing. And the intro is going to be like this. Now, I don't want this sound to play straight away. So what I might do is double click on this. Make sure this is 4 bars. All this extra stuff we can right click here and press crop and get rid of. I'm actually going to duplicate this and make it an 8-bar loop. And what I'll do is I'll delete the first 4 bars of the MIDI. So it won't play instantly. So what you'll get is something like this. And then you can go in here and launch it. Keep this playing for where you feel like, okay, something's to change now. And I'm going to bring these down and think, right, what would I want my verse to sound like? I don't want all these sounds to be in here. So we can make a verse now. So I might not want these hi-hats to start straight away. So I'm going to duplicate it a few times, maybe actually make the full 16 bar of the loop and maybe mute these, and you can see we can have a full 16 bar loop in one of these clips. So you can start to structure things out. So I'm actually going to get rid of these open hats. I'm going to give this a 16 bar treatment as well, or not too much. And we can start to build up the verse. So that was kind of cool. I kind of liked it after 2 bars. So, and I've also just noticed there's quite a lot of notes in here from the MIDI. So what I'm going to do is press this button here, fold, and that's going to condense our MIDI clip and just show us the notes we're using. So what we're going to do is we're going to delete the first 2 bars of this one. And then so it's like the kind of starting 2 bars, and we're going to have that to keep looping around and see what that sounds like. But that's kind of cool because we have something that's familiar, but also creating some variation within the track. So the different sections, and it's also kind of like an A section, B section, A section, back and forth. So it just gives you something else to do. Then we can also have maybe this mallet coming in after like 8 bars. So we can duplicate this like a couple more times. And you can see it's only going to come in after 8 bars. And maybe towards the end of the 16 bars, we can take out these hi-hats and take out these drums just to create some more variation. So let's have a listen to that now. Click here. And you can start to make creative decisions. So I think we should take the mallet out for there and may only have this bass come back in here, and we start to arrange things. Now, the question that some of you guys are going to be asking me now is, okay, John, I've built up a little bit of an arrangement here, hook, verse, maybe even a bridge and etc. How do I get this into the arrangement mode so I start to see things? And this is where having something like a Launchpad or a push would really come in handy, because now all of these clips that you can see here, I can actually see them from my Launchpad. So I'm actually going to film that really quickly. Now, all of these clips that I have on here, I can actually see them within my Launchpad. So I can actually now control them from here. And this gives me some creative control when it comes to working some additional bits out. So I can choose strings, which is actually the group track, trigger the 808. Launch my drums. Maybe take out some of the instruments. Bring them back in. You can kind of just freestyle, DJ, come up with ideas, come up with new accidents, happy accidents, new arrangements. You never know what you're going to get. And when you're finished, just stop. Now that's kind of cool, because what I can do now is actually record that stuff. And how we do that is by going over to the other scene over here. So if you press tab, now we can see we're now in the arrangement mode. And because I'm on my Launchpad, I can still see what I'm going to use. So I can press record here and start to really work out how I want things to be laid out. So I'm going to do it live right now. And anything you record now is going to be captured. And you can see, once I stop recording, everything has now been captured within Ableton. So I can bring these all open and we can have a look and see what's been recorded and listen to it. Now, something you have to be mindful is if you have your track record armed while you're recording using the session mode, this will still record like you're still playing live. So you might have some clips of dead space, which I do have here. So you can just go along here and delete and just be aware of that. Now, another cool thing of using the session mode instead of using the arrangement mode is you can actually, every time you drag a clip in from here, instantly it's a looping track. So you can keep dragging it until the end of time instead of having to double click on it and then pressing loop. It's instantly loop is instantly turned on, which is useful. And also, if you're not happy with what you did for your recording, you can just press Command A and delete everything and start again. And that's not going to affect what's happened in the session mode. And that's because both of these view modes work independently. So any changes you make within the session mode is not going to change things in the arrangement mode and vice versa. And that makes it an incredibly powerful tool. So let's say you built your whole track in the arrangement view and you started in the session mode, and actually now you're playing a live show. You can actually go in here and still kind of play your beat or your track live. And this is where the Ableton live section comes into it, because you can be up on stage, triggering a push, triggering a launchpad, and still have some creative control. And let's say you get an encore and the tune has to go on for longer, and now you can start building it back up and just be completely creative. This is what makes Ableton Live a really unique door. Most other softwares out there just allow you to compose and produce in there. Ableton allows you to compose, produce, mix, master, all that sort of stuff, and still take it live, which is pretty amazing if you ask me. Session view is how I make most of my beats. I just like to get really creative, get all my ideas out, and then I think about arranging them at a later date, usually on another day. Sometimes I'll just sit down here, get all my ideas out, save it, and then I go and do something else. And then another day I open up all these loops that I have and just make a beat out of it. As in, like, just formulate it and put it into place. But yeah, guys, that was a super quick tutorial on how to use the session mode with an Ableton Live 10. I hope you liked this video. If you liked it, like, comment, and subscribe. Quick announcement before you go: I'm now live streaming on Twitch, making beats, and people come in there and ask me questions all the time while I'm actually doing stuff, whether that's mixing, producing, using particular plugins for mixing, all that sort of stuff. If you have any questions and I'm live, come along, show your face, ask me the question live, and I'll make sure I talk with you and help you out as much as I can. So yeah, I'll see you in the next video. It's been your boy John the Dreamer. Peace.